Hi, and welcome to my channel, angeliczodiac.com. This is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I've been wanting to do this video for 2025, and there is no optimal time. It's the holidays, it's right between Christmas and New Year's, and now I have a neighbor who decided now's the time to start banging upstairs, like never doing that, but today doing that. So anyway, we're going to just get on with it. Hopefully it isn't going to be too distracting. But the biggest thing that I wanted to bring to this podcast slash video is the idea that 2025 is going to be a very big year for the energy of Aries. That's pretty much what I'm going to focus on for this podcast. I am not going to get into all the other minutiae because I can get off on a tangent, as you know, if you've listened to my podcasts. This year, I'm just going to focus on the highlights. And as the year goes on, I'll probably post other videos for different things coming up. Okay, so a couple things I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the planets and let you know what all is changing signs and when it's changing. And that will give you kind of an overview. And I also want to go over New Year's Day. And so we're just going to start right in with the planets. Like I said, Aries is going to be the key energy coming into this year. And what does that mean? Well, Aries, I've got my lists all over the place. Aries rules ego. Well, first off, Aries is ruled by the planet Mars. So they are synonymous. When you look at a sign, look at its ruler, they have the same energy. The planet gives the sign, or the planet is the ruler. It gives the sign its energy and its archetype. So Mars being the archetype of Aries, it is ego, it is gambling, initiation, the energy of men, war, action, drive, sales, and sex. So we can see all these energies really being the theme of 2025. And that means that also wherever your Mars is going to be triggered very strongly in 2025. And I'm just going to really quickly go through all the different signs and how you may see the energy. So Aries, of course, anyone who's an Aries or has strong Aries in their charts is going to take a direct hit this year. It will be an awakening of sorts. It will be an energy coming up within you of discovery, of newness. You may be prone more to tantrums. And this is also true of all the placements of Mars. Just depending on which house and which sign is the expression of that energy. But in Aries, it's going to be pretty much straightforward, throwing a tantrum, maybe throwing objects. Aries/Mars does rule knives and guns. So there could be some stronger energy around the ideology of guns and warfare. Also, we've got the energy of sales and selling yourself, kind of like marketing energy and promoting the self. It is a rather selfish energy, but it doesn't have to be negative. Each sign has a positive and a negative energy. And Mars's positive energy is it moves us forward. It is enthusiastic. It is youthful. They are committers in relationships. They do look for a relationship because their opposite sign is Libra. And so it is the balancing of the scales kind of energy, marriage and individuality. And so we're going to see the energy coming in of me versus the relationship, and how do we get a cooperative relationship with two individuals, because the individuals will be expressing the need for their own thing, to be an individual within the collective. And that is also kind of mirrored with the energy of Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto being a more intensified, intense energy of Mars. It is the strategist, and it is the ruler of plutonium, because Pluto rules the energy of bombs and explosions, but it's also strategy and war. And in the sign of Aquarius, it is the collective and also the identity within the collective. So the two are kind of working together, and they are in sextile. They are cooperative energies. So we will see cooperation between that. So if your Mars is in Aquarius, there's going to be a good cooperation and quite honestly, tremendous invention and inventiveness. Aries, of course, like I said, will be much more in their youthful energy and their drive and their discovery. And it's kind of like the child of the zodiac, the infant of the zodiac. As we're wrapping up the Pisces energy, there will also be a lot of Pisces energy going on as the planets move from Pisces into Aries. And then, so we're going to have the Aries energy, those with Mars in Aries, direct hit, Mars return, strong drive, sales, masculine, forthright energy going on there. Then we go into Taurus, and Taurus has Aries in the 12th house. So Taurus may be the most enigmatic going on right now because it's squaring the energy of Aquarius and Pluto. But having Aries, Mars, it'll be a lot of them. I'll just tell you, Mars, the moon every month, the sun at the beginning of the year, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune will all be going into Aries this year. So at any given moment, especially in the first half of the year, we're going to see a tremendous amount of the energy infusion in our lives and in national news, in politics, everywhere. And as you get to Taurus, the subconscious is ruled by Aries. So that means they are feeling the energy, but maybe not admitting that they want to just throw a little tantrum and get their way. And I have a friend who's a Taurus, and I could totally see that happening in her world where she's going to just be like, I can't take it anymore. And like, this is the way it has to be, my way or the highway energy. But the other side of it is there will be some energy with Libra this year as we go into the new year, which I'll get to in a minute. But Black Moon Lilith will be in Libra and South Node will be in Libra. And like I said, I'll get to that, but I want to try and focus and stay on task. And I know I shouldn't have tried to do all of this at this moment because I have to leave in about 15 minutes, but if I have to make a part 2 or combine them, I will. Okay, so Taurus, you're going to be going through kind of a subliminal awakening, so to speak, of your masculine energy, men or women. It's going to be this, I can't just take it anymore. So having Aries in the 12th house can mean that you will act out at times, but you might do things behind the scenes or under the radar. Having Aries with all the planets in it in your 12th house means you're going to want to express out. It's not as covert as you might normally have it be. So you're going to definitely fight your desire at times to express a drive, a more masculine drive, a more masculine authority with partner. So just be aware of that. It's going to really hit you subconsciously, subliminally, and then ultimately kind of express out. Aries in the 12th answers to Neptune, which will also be in Aries. So, it's going to be kind of like no holds barred, honestly. And you may have some internal fighting going on subconsciously because of that placement. Okay, going on to Gemini. Gemini, let me just rotate my chart here. So Gemini has Aries in the 11th house. And if you have a Gemini Mars, that's going to affect you making more friendships. You're going to potentially, well, I would say strongly, have an opportunity to make new friendship groups. You're going to be awakening to how you interact with your friends. What role do you play with your friendships? And also it's money from career and community you connect to through your career. So you're going to find that that's also affected, and the drive you make after hours or even during hours of networking and connecting to people in your career. It can also be a tremendous time to make money through sales. That would put, let me think, Pisces in the midheaven for those with a Gemini rising, and that is a career in art and having that Mars and Aries in the 11th house means now you're going to start to have a lot of sales. And really, that'll be the drive. Potentially, if you do anything in photography or creative arts, genealogy is covered under Pisces. So that would be an expression out of the energy with Mars towards any of those career endeavors. And then having a Mars in Gemini, of course, Mars is cooperative to Mars in Gemini is cooperative to Aries energy, which is just going to be kind of like no breaks for Gemini. And it also will help you take a lot of action in career. You might find yourself extremely busy this year with things that are outer community endeavors associated with your career. So if you do have, well, whatever your career is, Gemini rising and Gemini Mars, you're going to end up having a lot of activities, maybe parties or openings, like art openings, things like that. A lot of community or party or event energy going on for you. And that's really your happy place. Honestly, a lot of people with Gemini are very chatty and cooperative with other people, and community is very important. Neighbors are important. So the only negative with that would be when those planets are retrograde, you will end up having to pull your energy back, which is not a comfortable place for Mars to pull back the energy. It wants to go forward. So that's the friction side of it. Cancer, Mars in Cancer, that's my Cancer, my Mars. Yeah, so Mars in Cancer can be very particular. Hard for me to personally tell the difference because I'm a Virgo, and so that's a particular sign anyway. But Cancer, my mom has a ton of Cancer. If you've watched for any length of time, you know this. And Mars in Cancer is more of like ducks in the row, keeping control over things. So Aries is going to square Cancer, and that means that there's going to be friction. And it means that it awakens the nature of Cancer, those with Mars in Cancer. It's going to make you feel like I've got to do even more, or I am so done with doing more for others, I'm going to do for myself. It brings in more of a self-awareness and a need to just do for yourself and have your boundaries up. Have your, and this is a lot with people in the home life, family members. You're going to find that you're going to pick yourself over family members more so this year. And because Cancer rising puts Aries at the midheaven, that is career. You're going to find that your career might take off in a way that isn't always comfortable. Aries is very out there, very driven, and Cancer tends to want to be closed off and be at home. And the Aries energy, the Neptune energy at midheaven is going to put you more in the spotlight. And there could be creative things that you get to do in the public eye coming up this year. Leo. So Aries is in the 9th house with Leo on the rising sign, and then Leo Mars is going to be in cooperative energy. Cooperative, I say, because trines can be a bit difficult and emotional. I know that they are seen as the positive, I was going to say golden child, but the positive energy in the zodiac with aspects. They're 120 degrees apart. That means 1/3 of the sky apart. And they will bring out emotional storylines. And so a lot of times, yes, they can be positive. The outcome is always positive, but the process can be really emotional and honestly at times devastating. So having a Leo Mars is the gambler, and Aries doesn't have as many breaks. They love fast automobiles, motorcycles, things like that, and very masculine interests. And Leo is very creative energy. So you may find yourself, and they're both fire signs, so you may find yourself wanting to express yourself through fire, through knives, through aggressive masculine tools. And the Leo is the status symbol sign. So Mars and Leo can mean that you like to have fast cars or status car, status vehicle collection, things like that. And it is a creative sign. So you could find fire as a very stimulating thing in your creative endeavors. So things like that would be maybe using lasers to cut wood. Lasers leave a burn edge on the wood, and that would hearken to the fire energy. Glass blowing, anything like that, very fire oriented because you use fire to create it. So yeah, that's a Leo energy. And gambling, just be cautious because this could really, especially with Neptune going into Aries, could really trigger the gambler side of Leo. And then Virgo is going to have Aries in the 8th house, which is death and rebirth. So it is a very transformative energy. And because I think we've already touched on the Scorpio/Pluto energy, having Aries in the Scorpio house is going to be very strategic, very intense, ready for a fight, ready to take whatever the obstacle is completely down, burn it to the ground, as they say, and ignite a new life. And that is commitment. So it could mean a huge change in commitments for you. And Virgo tends to be more finicky, more repressed, I will say, because I am one. I don't have Mars there, thankfully. I have Mars in Cancer at the midheaven, but it can repress your drive. But what it does is makes you a very good workaholic. And having the drive in your 8th house, you are much more strategic, much more able and capable of giving your needs over to the powers that be, so to speak. If you work for yourself, you're going to have more interest in finding a partner to kind of split some of the work, but you could also, challenge the boss's authority in that position. And quite honestly, all the planets going into the 8th house for you in Aries is going to make you feel like, hey, I have a stronger sense of self and more willing to take action on that. And so you could feel like you're kind of more capable of doing the job than your boss. So that energy is coming in. It can also mean, unfortunately, that there are people who will leave your life in 2024. And yeah, a lot of work, potentially sales, but Scorpio rules more of what's the word? It starts with them, mysteries and investigative work. So you throw yourself into that, especially Neptune. Neptune can really show you your family's history. And because you have the axis of Virgo Pisces, the ruler that has been ruling your house of work, going into, well, actually I take it back. It's your house of marriage. So marriage, the way I read the 7th house, is also very connected to the parent who is opposite gender to you, or the one that you're attracted to as a partner in life. And so there could be energy going into genealogy or past family patterns, karmic patterns associated with marriage and partnership for Virgo. Moving on to Libra, we've got the energy squared, because of course Libra is another cardinal sign. Aries is a cardinal sign, actually not square, my bad, opposing energies. And so Aries going into your house of marriage, opposite your Libra rising or Libra Mars, is going to bring an awakening that might wake you out of codependent tendencies and really say, I need my needs met in this relationship. Or if you're single, you're going to be very strongly, actively searching for a partner, because that house is highly lit up. So the axis for Libra is going to be very lit up this year with, like I said, the South Node of Libra about to transition into Virgo Pisces, which is the subconscious and hidden areas of your chart. But we're wrapping up the energy of identity and marriage, but then we are also lighting a fire on the marriage. So it's a good year for Libra if you're looking to get married, but also taking ownership of your own identity and your own drive and the desires that are more masculine and more proactive for you. Scorpio, like I said, Mars energy is very much a lower vibration of the Scorpio energy. So having Mars in Aries, it falls into your house of work. And Also, if you have a Mars in Scorpio, you're not taking any crap from anybody, and you're going to be very strategic about what you do. You're going to have a lot of power going in your chart. It's fire and water. So not only are you lit up to take action in your work environment, and just be super careful because you are more predisposed to accidents this year. Aries can always act before it thinks, leap before it thinks. So Scorpios tend to be, like I said, more covert, and they are passive aggressive, and Aries can be much more out there with their energy. So it's going to be, even though it's similar energy of action and intensity, it could mean that there are missteps and actions coming back to get you, like karmic energy in your work environment. So just be very cautious about that. Not even cautious. Sometimes it annoys me when I see readers say, be cautious. Oh, be careful. Don't do that. Aries wants you to act. You have to act, but know that those actions have consequences, and you will see the consequences in the work environment, positive and negative. So moving into Sag. So, getting off of, watching consequences. Sagittarius likes to speak its mind, speak its truth. And Aries is going to be in the house of romance. So you're more likely to take straight up action in romance this year, attract someone in. Your masculinity energy, male or female, is going to be very sexy. And that sexual energy is coming in, bringing in a new partner. And also you're more creative, more drawn to taking action around the kind of projects that you want to do, things that you might have put on the back burner. You're not going to do that anymore. And then Sagittarius in and of itself is just very active energy anyway. It's a fire sign, so it's taking action. Normally it is the sign that I look to for ADHD. So it is that energy of, I have to take action and I can't sit still. Sagittarius doesn't like to sit still. And then Mars says, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And Aries energy is in your 5th house, which is Leo. And so that's also a fire energy. The fire sign risings are going to have fire sign energy in travel, in romance, and identity this year. And they always have those houses affected. And then moving on to Capricorn, again, another cardinal sign, another direct hit to your drive and your stubbornness, honestly. Aries squares your sign, and Mars in Capricorn doesn't like to move. Aries has to move. So you're going to really feel the friction about your comfort zone. Aries falls in your house of home and family. And so that's where the action and activity will take place. If you're looking to have children, very strong energy this year of having little ones, and Aries rules newborns. So that's a strong potential. Also, having Aries, it's interesting because, the president is of an elder generation, both the outgoing and incoming. And so that they will definitely be affected by this energy. Aries in the house of home and families ruled by Cancer. We are a Cancer country. So there is a strong potential that we will get in a conflict of some sort this year. And we will also have consequences, as I've said before, the positive and the negative. The consequences are going to be in homeland. So, excuse me, look for that. And, my throat dries up or restricts, and that's always my sign that there's some information that is being restricted around that. So I would say also in a national sense, which Capricorn rules, the structure, the government, the overarching systems, we are going to see things that aren't really being said right now. They will be acted upon in this coming year. And then Capricorn, like I said, being very staid, very stoic and restrictive, they're going to have a bit of discomfort with this square, not going to lie. And it's going to be around home and family. So that tends to be their hidden, soft, tender side. And so, we're going to, and there is also a square to their marriage house. So if you are a Capricorn rising or a Cancer rising, The axis of marriage, home, and family is all going to be very much in flux this year as you really awaken to your own personal inner voice and your need to move forward with your life and not just stay static anymore. Okay, I'm racing through this. I'm going to have to add to it because I got to go. Aquarius drive is towards technology, invention, independence, autonomy, and entrepreneurship. And having the Aries energy, like I touched on earlier, that falls in your house of communication and ideas. So a very strong year of new inventions and taking action and taking a risk, taking chances, jumping in both feet, talking to people. I've got chills with this. You are going to meet people who are going to help you get your ideas out there. Very exciting. My son is an Aquarius rising. And so for those of you who are very tech-oriented, tech geeks, it's about sales. It's about communicating and getting the sale. So the drive to get those ideas out there will be there. It'll be a really strong year for independence, entrepreneurship, etc. Finally, Pisces. Pisces has Aries in the second house of couples and romance, but it's also money and the drive to make money. So I think this is going to be a good year for you to be making money through the actions you take. And you're going to be really attracted. You know, Pisces is kind of the ultimate feminine. It's ruled by Neptune, which will also be in the second house. So the dream of how you want the vision to be, what you want your world to be romantically and financially is going to come to fruition. And you are taking the actions and the practical steps towards doing that. And it's about the drive, about making movement. And Pisces tends to be really, I mean, I know Pisces influence people and they always call themselves lazy. They're not lazy, they're intuitive, and they're very protective of their intuitive nature. So they don't tend to take bold actions towards anything. They sit and ruminate on what they're feeling. And Aries is going to really bring you out of that and really bring you into yourself. My daughter has Mercury in Pisces and she's got an Aries sun at 0 or 1 degree Aries. So I just see that's going to be a tremendous new year for her. Okay, we're going to add to this with a couple other things in another part, but right now I do have to hustle out of here. So thank you for watching and I'll be back in a moment.
Hi, this is Shelley. Thank you for joining us this week. To contact me for a private reading, go to angeliczodiac.com under the Readings tab. To purchase my ebook, Learn Astrology, you can find it at angeliczodiac.com. Background music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Be sure to check back next week and subscribe through iTunes at Astro Energy Astrology Show.